Before you can understand why Persia struggled in certain wars, you need to understand something deeper, not just its power, but how it actually fought. Because the military of the backhand index pointing right Achaemenid Empire, that was not just large, it was organized, it was structured. It was designed like a system. Every movement, every formation, every battle followed a logic. To those who faced it, this was not just an army, it was a machine built from different peoples, different weapons, different methods, all working together under one command. And when this machine moved, it didn't just attack. It applied pressure. It created fear. It broke resistance before the final clash. So the real question is not just how powerful Persia was. The real question is, how did this war machine actually work? Because once you understand that, you begin to understand everything else. The strength of Persia did not come from a single army. It came from many. Across the vast lands of the Achaemenid Empire, troops were drawn from different regions: Medes, Persians, Egyptians, Babylonians, each bringing their own weapons, their own fighting styles, their own experience. This created something unique, not a uniform force, but a layered one. Different units for different roles. At the center of this system stood the elite corps, the Immortals, a permanent force of 10,000 soldiers, always maintained, always ready, always reliable. They were not just fighters, they were stability inside complexity. Around them, the rest of the army expanded outward, a larger, more diverse, more flexible. This gave Persia something few armies had: scale and adaptability. But it also created something else, a system that required coordination and control. Persia did not rush into battle blindly. Its method followed a pattern, a sequence. First came distance. Archers moved into position and released volleys of arrows into the enemy, not to destroy immediately, but to weaken, to disrupt formation, to create confusion. Then, the advance began. Infantry moved forward in controlled motion, not charging wildly, but applying steady pressure. Shields raised, lines holding. The goal was not a single decisive strike. It was accumulation. Pressure building over time, wave after wave, force after force, until the enemy began to lose cohesion. And when that moment came, when formation broke, that was when Persia dominated. This was not about speed. It was about control, about shaping the battle before the final moment. Persia did not simply fight the enemy. It wore the enemy down until resistance collapsed. This system made Persia incredibly powerful because it combined more than just force. It combined method. First, flexibility. Different units allowed adaptation to different situations. Archers, infantry, regional forces, each played a role. Second, scale. Few enemies could match the size of Persian armies. This meant pressure could be sustained, longer than most opponents could endure. But perhaps the greatest strength was psychological. To face the Persian army was to see something overwhelming, lines stretching across the horizon, numbers that did not seem to end. This created fear before the battle even began, and fear changes decisions. It weakens resolve. It makes resistance harder. In many cases, Persia was already winning before the first decisive clash, because its strategy was not just physical, it was mental. It attacked the body and the mind. But no system is perfect, and the same structure that made Persia powerful also created its limits. This strategy was designed for open space, for movement, for scale, for expansion, but not all battlefields allowed that. In narrow terrain, in mountains, in confined spaces, numbers lost their advantage. Large formations could not deploy fully. Pressure became harder to apply. At the same time, coordination became more difficult. A multi-ethnic army, with different units and methods, required control, and in complex environments, that control weakened. There was another challenge: disciplined infantry formations, especially those that held tight defensive lines, could resist the gradual pressure Persia relied on. And when the system could not break the enemy quickly, its strength became less effective. This is the key to understanding everything. The Persian system was powerful, but it was built for specific conditions, and when those conditions changed, its effectiveness changed with them. Now you understand how Persia fought, not just as an empire, but as a system, a machine of scale, pressure, and control. And in the next step, you will see how these strategies played out in real battles, where victory and failure were decided. subscribe, because this is where history becomes even more real.